Welcome, everybody, to the Primo Bros Show.
All right, our next episode is a substitute creature, also known as Das Missglückt Project.
I knew you'd have fun with that one.
It's pretty good. It's a good name.
Yeah.
So what's this episode about? Do you know?
Oh geez, I'm not used to doing the summaries.
Oh, I can do it.
I wasn't.
I love doing it.
I didn't prepare for this test.
That's okay. So this episode is about Jimmy attempting to wow the class with this ancient spinach that he grew from a dinosaur's tooth that it got stuck in. And it's really cool to him, but no one else thinks so. So he accelerates its lifespan by a factor of 350 million years, and it spits seeds out into Miss Foul's mouth, who becomes a giant, a big jolly green giant. And the military is called in, and Jimmy has to figure out how to stop it. But the real important part of this plot is that Hugh needs to get a new toaster.
Yep.
Because Jimmy keeps making fucking inventions out of them, and he just wants toast.
Perfect.
That's the plot.
Perfect. No, I love it. You did it masterfully. That's why you do it, not me, because it's like you do that part.
Here, I'm gonna send you the thumbnail right now and get your live reaction of it.
Okay, cool.
Here you go.
Send it to me over Discord.
Yep. Here you go. This is what the thumbnail will be, and we'll put it on screen in the episode for you all to see.
It's perfect. It's so good.
For our audio listeners out there, it's an image of Hugh looking the most distraught, upset, and just displeased that he's ever looked, ever.
Yeah.
He's got this scowl on his face. He looks
This like
just pure contempt.
Okay, so my first note is it's so sad that Hugh doesn't get the breakfast that he deserves.
That's true.
So
and it's established previously because he doesn't get toast and he's just got bread and he's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
and it's established earlier in the show that oven toast is something that Judy Neutron knows how to make. So,
well,
she's just sick of it.
Okay, the thing about it, that when it comes to things like this, it's to set up the episode. You know, it's to set up that Jimmy will save the day with a toaster. And because for some reason Jimmy has just decided, which I have a theory, that toasters are the most effective tool to create a machine to do things around the house. For example, wash the windows, which actually works pretty good, and bring in the paper. Yeah. So
Hugh is not amused though. He's just like, I just wanted toast.
Yep.
That's all I wanted.
This is actually the episode I feel like that it shows the cracks and how Hugh is just so upset and just done with Jimmy's inventions.
Because he's supportive. He loves his son.
Yeah.
He knows that he does good work and he's got a bright future ahead of him. But sometimes you mess with a man's toast one too many times, and you break a man.
I mean,
you break a man down.
How many toasters have they used throughout the years? And
there's one in the movie. The movie is the first toaster.
You're
death.
right. You're right.
That's where the oven toast came from.
Oh my gosh! It comes full circle. Oh my gosh. Well, and also, if you think about it, so. I'll just say this later on. So Jimmy uses a toaster to save the day, and he knows the exact model that Hugh buys from the toaster convention. Jimmy is just as obsessed with toasters as his father is.
I honestly, my theory is that Jimmy understands that man, I've really been going through toasters hella quick lately. I should get dad something nice for Father's Day or for his birthday or whatever.
Ooh.
So he's been researching toasters before this happened.
Ooh, maybe, yeah, because Jimmy knew that there's a toaster convention in town.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yeah. So I mean, so the next part is everyone's bringing their stuff to class, all of their plants to class. Which, I would have really enjoyed Miss Val's class growing up because
Yeah, that's a cool assignment. Grow a plant.
Exactly. Like it probably had like a couple months to do it, or whatever. And Sheen just went out and bought a plant and then put a boxing glove on it.
He glued it, and then Libby is just like, it looks like he just glued glued a boxing glove to your plant. And he's like, oh, cool, but I didn't ask.
Yeah. Well, I love his. So yeah, I love his delivery on it. He's like, well, nobody asked you anyway. What have you come up with that's so wonderful? Like I just his delivery is obviously way better than mine, but like he just.
All right, cool. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Don't care. Didn't ask. Plus, you're gay.
Yeah. So everybody has these like pretty, decent plants. Cindy though has like this amazing, beautiful plant that has beautiful pink flowers. It smells really good. Everybody loves it, and Carl is a very supportive person, not just of Jimmy, but of other people too. And he loves Cindy's plant, and like you said in the summary, Jimmy's lame 64 million year old plant is lame, and it's lame,
and it's smelly. It's
yeah.
stinky.
Also,
and even Miss Fowl, without even like getting close to it, was just like, Cindy, your flower is as beautiful as Jimmy's sucks ass. It smells so bad.
Yeah, it's true. Well, okay, one thing I thought of before we go further on, it's like Jimmy could literally say his stuff is anything and people would most likely believe it because he's done so many things at this point that's like, okay, why would he lie about it,
That's a good point. He could have just lied.
He could be like, oh yeah, this is 64 million years old.
Well, that's the thing is that we know that Jimmy is not very good at marketing.
It's true.
So he wouldn't have thought of that. He thinks that like the real genuine effort and the real scientific achievement is what gets people excited. Well, no, it just has to look cool.
Well, that's why Thomas Edison, screw him. Why he actually made so much money and why so many other inventors that he marketed their products didn't make money or died in a pauper's grave is because he was good at marketing.
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly. So
Jimmy's too pure of heart. He's enough of a scumbag to exploit a population of people dependent on his supply, but he's not so much of a scumbag that it focuses exclusively on aesthetics. He does actually want to make things cool and better. That's
true. A lot of his inventions, except for like a handful of them, actually don't look super good when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Like his hovercraft, he could make it look way better. But anyway, so this episode actually does a pretty good job of like cutting up the A and the B plot and then like merging them together. So the A plot is Jimmy and his plant, and then Miss Fowl turning into the giant green.
No. The A plot is Hugh's toaster.
I'm sorry. I should have known better before I spoke. You're right. The A plot is Hugh's toaster. So the B plot is Jimmy dealing with Miss Fowl getting turned into a giant green thing. The A plot is Hugh getting a new toaster. And so we actually see that Jimmy, he has used a lot of toasters to create things in his home. And I feel like this is kind of a callback to the last episode because they just loved clowns so much. But Judy has a toaster that puts her makeup on and it turns her into a clown. And it's like,
it's beautiful. It's a good joke.
It is. And I think it's because, and like, I wrote like, Hugh is such a good husband because even though she obviously looks like a clown, literally like a clown, he still loves her. He still thinks she's beautiful. He's still going to tell her she looks great.
I think the part about it that makes me smile the most is because it's a Simpsons gag as well, where Homer invented the makeup shotgun. And then
really?
He shoots Marge in the face with it, and she also looks kind of clownish, but mostly just like way too much makeup, and she just goes, "Homer, you haven't said to whore." And I love imagining Hugh saying that.
Judy, you haven't said to whore.
It shows like the toaster dial, and it's like a little bit, and it just goes all the way up to 4.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite lines from this episode is when Jimmy's going up to Carl, and he's like, Carl, you like my really old stinky plant, right? And Carl's like, oh, look, my shoe is untied over there. And I think that's a really good gag.
I gotta use that in real life more. Like if I just want to not like talk to someone, because it would make them laugh too. And honestly, you can't be mad if you're laughing at someone being like, no, I don't want to be a part of this conversation.
Well then also it's like it's a more clever way to get out of something, because then it'll make them laugh, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, I guess I didn't want to talk, but at least I got a laugh out of it.
Yeah. Also, in the wide shot of like the classroom where everyone has their plant, one of those kids just straight up grew weed. Like 100%. There's no way around it. I know that shape.
I'm sure the
I live in
animators.
Washington.
Yeah. I'm sure the animators were like, they won't notice. They won't notice. They won't get it.
Yeah, I really am not like about the plot of this episode, or at least the B plot of Jimmy.
Yeah.
I don't know. This episode just doesn't do it for me. I feel like there was. Maybe it's because there was too much plot of Hugh like doing the rest of the stuff, but I feel like that was the meat and potatoes of the episode, is him getting to go to the toaster convention. E3 for toasters. That's a great concept. That's amazing.
It is.
And Jimmy's just like, oh no, the seeds from my spinach made Miss Fowl 50 feet tall, and she's green. And
okay,
so
okay. The thing about it is, if you look at, she's taller than most of the buildings. Those are obviously higher than 50 feet. Like,
sure.
But okay.
Let me put it this way: you could remove everything that the military did in this episode and lose nothing. I feel like if you spent that time, like having Miss Fowl do more like funny things as a giant, like no driving trucks in the halls, and she throws like the semi truck.
And it explodes.
If you had like a few more things like that would have made the episode pretty solid. But
That's
I feel
true.
like a bunch of the time is wasted with like a couple of military jokes.
Except for one joke. The one joke is the general says, call in the military. And his advisor is like, oh, we are the military. And the general's like, boy, we did get here fast. I like that.
That is a good joke.
I like that.
But most of the military is just like, women, am I right? That's the whole gag.
They obviously don't love women as much as you do, Zeno.
You're right. I do love women.
Okay, another thing I want to talk about. So Miss Fowl says, hey, your homework, to the general, who is in his 50s at least, because he has gray hair. So he's in his 50s and 60s. Miss Fowl says, your homework is 28 years late. This is the first indication that Miss Fowl is just insanely old.
Yeah, she's probably like in her 20s when she was teaching for the first time.
Yeah.
Taught the general everything.
Yeah, exactly. Which means she's like in her 70s or 80s or something like that. Which is, kind of insane. But okay.
Very funny too.
So so like we hinted at earlier, Jimmy takes his father's new toaster, which they probably spent like a lot of money on, because that's a nice toaster.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't hit the market yet. He probably like went up to the booth and was like, wow, what a beautiful show model. When's it coming out? Oh, 2009. Oh, that's wonderful. What if there was $500 under the table? Well, then I guess I would turn around and give you, leave this key for the lock right here. Well, I think that's wonderful.
Freaking scalpers.
That's right. He does get scalped.
Yeah.
But honestly, he's a car salesman. This is a deal that he's put a lot of thought into.
It's a choice. He chose that. Yeah. So the episode ends with Jimmy taking the machine that he used to make his plants so old. He rewrote it to make it so Miss Fowl would go back to normal. But it didn't work, so he had to shoot it inside of her. So this is the second time Jimmy has had to shoot something has shot something inside of Miss Fowl this episode. But
okay.
he used the toaster to shoot the machine into her, and then she shrunk. And then Carl ate the seeds that were left over, and Carl became giant.
Yeah. And they're just like, well, we got to make Miss Fowl puke now.
Yep. While Jimmy goes and makes another machine.
Yep. And Sheen is just like, oh yeah, don't worry guys, we just need a bucket and whatever made me hurl last Thursday from the lunch lady.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. This episode is kind of like, it could have been like it's already quick. It could have been cleaned up a bit more with a bit better of a plot. So but so
it's not a bad episode. It's just it's a little sloppy. It's just a little sloppy.
I would say it's like, so let's say Battle of a Band, which is like our line, is like a 7.5, right?
Sure.
I would call this episode like a 6.
I'd say 6.5. Just for the toaster gags were pretty good.
Yeah, the Hugh as a main plot point is very good.
The only question I'm left wondering is, how does this toaster make waffles?
What do you mean?
Because when Jimmy's like, I gotta get the toaster for my dad, and Judy's like, Hugh, he needs the toaster. He's just like, but I need it. It makes waffles.
Oh, okay.
It's like, how? That's honestly kind of impressive.
It probably has a latch or like a door on the side that you can pull down and put the batter on, then put it up really quick.
Maybe. The only way I can think of is that like it's just a waffle iron that's like upright.
Yeah.
And you can just also use it for toast. But wouldn't that make the toast pattern really like weird?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a toast engineer.
Yeah, you're right. What was I thinking?
Come on, man. I may be a boy genius.
You're way out of your depth.
Because I watched Jimmy... Oh, shut up. Okay, 2 things. Last things. The convention center is the home of the Retroville Razors, which is probably a reference to the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh. Well, the more you know.
Well,
wait, Los Angeles? This is Texas.
Well, it's a reference. Just like the Salvation Navy is like a reference to the Salvation Army.
I forgot about the Salvation Navy.
Most of my brain now is Jimmy Neutron. and that's
my encyclopedic knowledge of Jimmy Neutron grows stronger by the day.
Exactly, and that's building off of the knowledge I already had as a child. So, and then the Brain Blast fun fact. I know you'll never trust me again, but
no, I trust you.
This one is this episode is
don't care.
What?
Sorry, telemarketer.
Oh, okay. So this episode is a parody of Godzilla, and the destruction she causes, all the stuff. It's a parody of Godzilla. So yeah,
you know what? I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it. Although it does feel a little bit more King Kong-ish with her grabbing the plane, personally. But
yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's just a me thing.
Hey,
I'd have to consult JT because he's the King Kong / Godzilla expert.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
He's seen them all.
Yes. Well,
yeah, I liked this pair of episodes overall. I think the first half, the candy episode, was enough to carry this half of the episode as well, honestly. And the A-plot in this episode was boring. The toaster stuff ruled. I like how upset Jimmy's dad looks.
Yes,
That's it. That's all I got.
It is very good. I love how upset he is as well. So I like this episode. It was fun. But yeah, I think you're right about how the first episode definitely, the goodness from the first episode definitely like helps out this episode.
Yeah. So. Or like, because like there's parts of, because the candy episode, there's a lot to talk about because you see the science thing that he did has a very clear cut effect on the town, and that's interesting. This one, it does the same thing, but they don't focus on the part of it that's interesting, which is interspecies propagation.
That's a good point. Maybe that's why we don't like it as much, because it's kind of all over the place. There's
Yeah,
not a
it doesn't it kind of pushes the interesting thing off to the side.
Yeah.
Why would this plant be able to do this, you know? I don't know.
I feel like there's not a clear cause and effect.
Yeah.
Is we know the cause of the first episode, and a lot of episodes is Jimmy makes a thing, that thing causes a problem, Jimmy fixes the problem. In this episode, Jimmy did make a thing, and it did cause the problem, but we don't know why his machine that turned the plant older fixed Miss Fowl.
Yeah. It wasn't so much his hubris, it was more almost like a weird accident.
Yeah.
In a way. Like
Well,
he did have hubris for like fast forwarding its development and it suddenly being like, okay, time to infect people around me.
Well,
but
his father is Hugh Burris, so
that's should be his middle name.
James Hubris Neutron. That's Hugh's full name now, is Hubris.
Hubris Neutron. What's his actual middle name again?
Gomat.
Gomat, thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we should do a quiz like at the end of every season of like we should have like one of our brothers do like make a quiz and then we take it to see who gets better.
I would like that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But
yeah, thank you for joining us and any last thoughts?
Nope.
Cool. Hi, I'm Paul. Go home.